Takeaway Chinese, where you can take some Chinese away and experience progress day by day. Takeaway Chinese, we will promise you a difference.
你好，欢迎收听随行汉语 Welcome to Takeaway Chinese. I'm Niu Honglin and I'm with Tada Steve Hatherley. Hello.
People are going to start thinking my first name is Tada, and my middle name is Steve.
Well, if you really think about it, that is a pretty good first name and middle name.
I kind of like it. My favorite name that I've ever heard. Do you know the little game you play with babies? I'm sure you probably do it as a parent here in China. You hide your face.
Peekaboo?
You say peekaboo.
Yes.
There was an Olympian, an American Olympian. She was a skier, downhill skier, and her name was Peekaboo Street. That was her name. Her parents named her Peekaboo. I'm guessing because she loved the game Peekaboo when she was a baby.
Are you going to name yourself Tada, Steve?
I'm thinking about it. Thanks for having me back. It's great to be here.
I'm always glad to have you on the show. And that's why I say Tada. I don't think it's entirely for the listeners. It's partly for me because I know there will be a good show. It'll be fun talking about interesting stuff that excites you.
Absolutely.
Both the theme and the language.
Yes. And today we are doing one of my favorite topics, and that is sports.
Yes. Is that why you mentioned the Olympian?
No, that was a total coincidence. By the way, how do you say coincidence in Chinese?
巧合.
巧合.
Yes. I think 巧 itself carries the meaning of textile or flexible or carefully designed. It's like you have two Lego or two pieces that are very cleverly and incidentally match with each other.
Oh, okay.
The kind of happy coincidence.
Right.
Or delicately designed kind of feeling. And 合 actually means match. So 巧合 is a coincidence.
I
Happy
see.
coincidence.
Yes, no, that was a 巧合. That was a coincidence that it happened to be related to a wintertime sport.
Yes, but I do know you love sports and you're a sport fan, not in the sense that not only in the sense that you play a lot of different sports, but you watch, for example, different games, the Olympic Games, or in this case, maybe have you ever watched the Asian Games since you've been living in Asia for quite a long time?
Well, being in the media for a couple of decades, I've always kind of reported on the Asian Games and followed along with them. And yeah, from time to time, I've checked out some events on television, but I've never been lucky enough to see them in person before.
That's interesting because, yes, when it comes to the Olympic Games, of course, that's the most exciting. Yet, actually here in Asia, we are very much familiar with a lot of the, let's say, athletes who represent our countries and attend, for example, the Asian Games or Asian Winter Games for sure. So to start with, let's learn to say 亚运会.
亚运会.
Yes, so 奥运会 is the Olympic Games, and 运 we know stands for 运动. That's sports or exercise. And 会 is a meeting. We talked about this before. A 运动会 would be a sports meeting. You meet up, do sports, find who's best at what, and that is a sports meeting, 运动会. So 运动会 would be a sports meeting. Olympic sports game would be 奥运会 or 奥林匹克, which is Olympic.
Okay.
运动会. So 奥运会 would be Olympic Games, and 亚运会 would be Asian Games.
亚运会.
Yes, because 亚 stands for 亚洲, Asia.
Aha. 亚运会.
Yes, and same logic goes to 奥运会 and 冬奥会. So in English, Olympic Winter Games would be Olympic Games, and it's in winter time, so Olympic Winter Games. And in Chinese, 冬奥会, 冬天 winter, 奥林匹克.
Okay.
And 会 meeting. So you kind of always want only 3 characters in this word.
So you chop off some of the syllables from the other words.
Yes, you chop off some of the characters and put them together and using only one character to represent this whole entire idea.
Is that exclusive to this kind of thing when we're talking about major events, major sporting events, or can we see that logic applied in
everywhere?
Oh, really?
The only problem is that you cannot really make up your own abbreviation.
Your own rules?
No, your own. No, never create something by yourself, especially when you're not that fluent in Chinese just yet.
Right.
Always use the ones that you've heard other one using. Otherwise, no one would ever understand you when you put random characters from words and put them together.
Yeah. I mean, this is one of the, I'm sure it happens in English. I'm sure it happens in every language, but it is one of the challenging things, isn't it, for a learner of any new language. I know it happens in Korean a lot, this type of thing. But if you don't know, then you don't know, because it's not really something that you're going to learn in a textbook, in a classroom somewhere. This is kind of the thing that you get from having discussions with people on specific topics.
Exactly. For example, have you ever watched The Avengers?
Oh, sure.
So in Chinese, the official name of it is 复仇者联盟. So 复仇者literally means the Avengers, or those who seek revenge.
Okay.
And 联盟 is like alliance. 联盟.
联盟.
Yes. And in Chinese, we sometimes put them together. We take the first character 复 from 复仇者, and the first character 联 from 联盟, and put them together. It's 复联.
复联.
Yes, 复联. And people now accept it. And if you say it to other moviegoers, they understand and everything. Yet, at the very, very beginning, 复联, this abbreviation belongs to Women's Association.
Oh.
Because 复is 妇女, women,
okay.
and 联盟 association.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So was that confusing then in conversations if people were asking if you've seen The Avengers or not, and they might have misunderstood?
Depending on which generations of people you're
Right,
talking
right,
about.
yeah.
But for those who have the context, yes, they understand. And I'm not even sure if it's a happy coincidence or funny coincidence, or they did it on purpose.
Yeah,
That's
right.
the thing about abbreviation in Chinese. Yes, so now we know 奥运会, that's the Olympic Games.
奥运会.
冬奥会,
冬奥会.
that's the Olympic Winter Games. 亚运会,
亚运会.
that's the Asian Games. And 亚冬会,
亚冬会.
and that is the Asian Winter Games. So, Asian Winter Game is going to be the theme of today's Takeaway Chinese. For our dear listeners, if you're interested in Chinese culture and you want to get a grip on the Chinese language, then this is the show for you. Stick with us for 30 minutes and you soon see the rewards. And for more fun Chinese learning, follow our Facebook page, Learn Chinese, to watch many fun videos and live streams. But now, let's provide you with some free Chinese for takeaway. We've already provided you with the Chinese 亚冬会, which is 亚洲冬季运动会. So we already know 亚洲,
亚洲.
Asia. And 美洲, for example, that's America. 澳洲, that's Australia. And 非洲, that's Africa. So now you know 洲 is a continent.
Right.
So 亚洲, that'll be Asia.
Got
and
it.
冬季, winter season, literally.
冬季.
冬季 winter season, and 运动会 sports meeting. So 亚洲冬季运动会, 亚冬会.
亚冬会. So, do you know a lot about the history of the Asian Winter Games?
We know the Asian Winter Games are an international multi-sport event, much like the Winter Olympics, but focused specifically on athletes from Asia. We've touched upon that. The games were first held in 1986 in Sapporo, Japan, and since then, they have become a major event for athletes across the continent.
Yeah, still relatively new.
Young.
I think we can say, right?
Yes.
Yeah, young is a better choice of word there. Only since 1986, and they started out in Sapporo. They're organized. Yeah, you might think, oh, well, maybe this is a totally separate event from the Olympics, and that is true, but yet at the same time, they are organized by the Olympic Council of Asia, and then there's a lot of really great winter sports in there. Skiing, of course, my favorite ice hockey is in there. My sister's favorite, ice skating, and snowboarding too.
Yeah, it's actually a very interesting phenomenon because previously, before having the privilege of reporting the 2022 Winter Olympics here in Beijing, I was not a huge fan of Winter Games. When I think about, for example, Olympic Games or Asian Games, I think about the summer ones. I think about the sports that I'm much more familiar with.
Track and field, those types of things. Yeah.
Now I find them not as exciting anymore.
The summer ones?
Yeah. Now I feel like the winter ones with all these different activities, with this beautiful cold backdrop, the snow and ice. I find Asian games more interesting. And if you really think about it, during summer days, yes, you can go watch the Olympics or the Asian Games, but you have many, many, many other choices. Yet for winter days, if we think about winter day recreational activity, you think about the kind of places you can go. Actually, winter sports is a very important part. And if the city is lucky enough to be the city who is hosting the Winter Games, definitely you can go enjoy the sports yourself, watch the games, have some winter time activity, including the ones we've talked about, appreciating the beautiful ice lanterns, hot spring in winter days. These are all very nice choices, all combined together.
Absolutely true. Yeah. And these games are not held very often. They're only, just like the Olympics, only every 4 years. Although with the Olympics, it feels like it's every couple of years because it is. With the Summer Olympics and the Winter Olympics, they have them staggered now. But these Asian Winter Games are every 4 years. And like you said, this is the platform, isn't it, for Asia's top winter athletes to showcase their skills. And it's a celebration, well, not just really about athletic achievement, but also the cultural ties that bind or bond these countries in this part of the world together.
Definitely. So when we talk about Winter Games or specifically Winter Asian Games, let's also learn a little bit more Chinese here. So when it comes to athlete, do you know how to say athlete in Chinese?
Athlete, I don't.
运动, remember 运动 is sport.
Okay.
员, person, sport person.
Okay.
Right? It makes a lot of sense.
It totally does make sense. Yeah, right. One more time, please.
运动员.
运动员.
And if you're talking about, for example, Asian Winter Game athlete, then it will be
亚冬会运动员.
perfect. All right. So now, if you're a really good athlete, you might win some medal.
Okay. Yep.
And that is 奖牌.
奖牌.
Yes. So 奖 means reward or award. And 牌 is a little plate. So, right?
Yeah, it totally makes sense. I'm not laughing because it's silly. I'm laughing because the logic is so clear and it makes perfect sense.
I like it because when I can actually explain the logic behind the forming of words, the forming of phrases and sentences, it's actually easier for people to understand and remember.
100%. And when we compare it to English, for example, a medal, what's a medal? Right? What does that mean? It's not, there's nothing in the word that explains to you what it is. But when you say an award in the shape of a plate, that tells you exactly what it is.
Yes. So 奖牌.
奖牌.
And in Chinese, we also have names for champion, second place, and third place. So for the first place, it would be 冠军.
冠军.
And the second place, 亚军.
亚军.
And third place, 季军.
季军.
Yes, that's the third place. But actually, I feel like ever since, well, actually in recent couple of years, because previously we care a lot about how many medals we get, who got the largest number of first place. Now it's getting a little bit different. I think for the previous Winter Games, we started to, or the Paris Olympics, more and more people started to focus on the kind of effort athletes put in training and in attending the games instead of only who's the first place.
I mean, it's the case with the Olympics, and I'm sure it's the case with every major sporting competition where the best in the world are competing. the difference between first place and second place and third place,
so tiny.
or even fourth and fifth or even 20th, is just so minuscule, right? That all of these people are really the best in the world. You don't need to name just one person as the best in the world. All of these athletes are the best in the world. And one athlete might win on a Tuesday, and if they had the same race with the same group or the same competition with the same group on Thursday, somebody else might win on a Thursday, right? Because they're just so almost equal in terms of their abilities. They're incredible abilities.
Yes, in Chinese we have a saying, 凤毛麟角.
凤毛麟角.
It's a Chinese idiom. It means the tip of the feather of a phoenix. And also the tip of the horn of a 连麒麟. That's also a mythical Chinese creature. And it means like the tip of the tip, the very best, the tiny little thing you can get from the world. And 凤毛麟角 is used to describe those great talent who are already the best. And I think those who can attend the Olympic Games or the Asian Games or the Asian Winter Games, they are 凤毛麟角.
The best of the best.
The best of the best already. And actually the 2025 Asian Winter Games, officially known as the 9th Asian Winter Games, is taking place from February 7th of 2025 to February 14th in Harbin, Heilongjiang, China. This marks the second time Harbin hosts the event, and the third time China has organized the Asian Winter Games.
So Harbin is having its ice festival at the same time.
Right?
Yeah.
That's the best combination. That's the place I want to visit. I'd be able to enjoy the games, enjoy a lot of winter activity, and also the 冰雪大世界, the ice and snow huge world. It's like the biggest, it's not like, it is the biggest snow and ice theme park.
Yeah, lots of media outlets are covering the ice festival in Harbin, and I just saw some reports on television. It looks really fun and really exciting and really cold.
Yes, really cold.
Yeah.
You know, the motto of the 2025 Asian Winter Games is Dream of Winter, Love Among Asia.
Lovely.
And in Chinese, it is 冰雪同梦. So we know 冰 is ice, 雪 is snow, and 同 is the same. And 梦 is dream. So 冰雪同梦.
Ice, snow, same dream.
Yes, I think it's more romantic than dream of winter.
Yeah, it's somehow more poetic, isn't it?
Yes. And then 亚洲同心. So 亚洲 is Asia. We already know that. 同, same, 心, heart.
Asian same heart.
Yes.
Talking about the unity and the bond between all of the countries in this part of the world. That's really quite lovely.
And you get to learn several key words or characters. That's 冰, ice, 雪, snow, 同, same, 梦, dream.
So these are the collective mottos of the Asian Winter Games for this year.
Yes. So 冰雪同梦,亚洲同心.
冰雪同梦,亚洲同心.
Yes, 冰雪同梦,亚洲同心. So that is the 2025 Asian Winter Games.
Lovely.
You're listening to Takeaway Chinese with myself, Niu Honglin, and Steve Hatherley. We would love to hear from you. Send us your thoughts via email to learnchinese@cri.com.cn. Coming up next, let's learn more words and expressions related to the Winter Asian Games. Don't go away, so you will take some Chinese away. Welcome back to Takeaway Chinese. I'm Niu Honglin, joined by Steve Hatherley. So, one thing that I have always enjoyed about Winter Games, well, I think that's partly because I'm not a hardcore sports fan, because I'm pretty sure for you, you would focus on the sports.
Boy, what are you talking about?
I'm talking about 吉祥物, mascots.
Oh, the mascots. Yeah, they're always really cute, aren't they?
Yes, and in Chinese, the Chinese name for mascot is 吉祥物.
吉祥物.
Yes, so 吉祥 actually means auspicious,
Okay.
good luck. 物 is an object. So the thing that brings good luck.
Good luck object.
Yes. For example, the mascot of the Beijing 2022 Winter Olympics is 冰墩墩. Do you still remember Bing Dun Dun?
Bing Dun Dun was a panda, right?
Yes. It's a giant panda with a suit of ice, a heart of gold, and a love of winter sports.
So we know that Bing means ice, but what does Dun Dun mean?
Actually, Dun Dun represents children in the sense that Dun carries the meaning of chubby and kind of solid in the way that the child is very strong. Strong, but very huggable, lovely, and cute. So Dun not exactly is a... I think it's more of a adjective used in the form of a noun in this case.
To mean chubby and strong.
Yes.
So can you refer to your boyfriend or husband as Dun Dun?
I think...
Can that be a nickname?
I think if you're talking about kids, it's better.
Okay.
So it's like chubby and strong, but in Chinese, sometimes we say 敦实.
敦实.
敦实 means the kid is growing in a very healthy and strong kind of way. It's very nice.
Yeah.
But it's still a little bit of talking down to. That's why I do not suggest you to use that to describe your boyfriend.
Right.
Yes. And also, Bing Dun Dun wears a full body shell made out of ice.
It kind of looked like an astronaut suit, right?
Yes. And of course, there's also 雪融融.
小龙龙.
Yes, 雪融融 is for the 2022 Winter Paralympics in Beijing. It's also a very cute, very kind of still chubby because the original figure was a lantern. So you can understand the roundness and the chubbiness of it.
The shape.
Yes, and the mascot of the Harbin 2025 Asian Winter Games are Bin Bin and Ni, a pair of Northeast China tigers.
Oh, very nice.
Yes, tiger, by the way, would be 老虎.
老虎.
Tiger.
老虎.
Yes, 老虎. So Bin Bin represents the ice events, while Ni represents the snow events. And their names embody the game's mantra, Welcome to Harbin. Bin Bin, Ni. So Harbin, 欢迎你.
That's very cute.
Yes.
I haven't seen the images. Is there any connection to Bing Dun Dun, or do they look totally different?
They're not the same. It's more like,
I know, we're talking pandas versus tigers.
Yes,
but...
and also Bin Bin shows off his winter sport wear, for sure, as well. Boldly donning a red scarf and blue gloves and sharing his joy and ice dancing. And Ni is snowboarding, wearing a traditional Chinese red cotton jacket with a warm, fluffy collar and snowflake patterns that display a festive look. So you still get the festive, like 雪融融. You still get the, of course, winter element with Bin Bin. But I think they're just a little bit different, in different style and different direction, defining direction.
It's a different times, and they're bundled up for the winter sports.
Yes. So that's mascot, 吉祥物. And also, another thing that we focus before the events would be 火炬, the torch.
火炬.
Have you ever noticed that these days, at the very beginning, of course, it's a real torch, and you do the relay of the torch, which in Chinese is 火炬接力.
火炬接力.
接力 is a good one because 接 carries the meaning of take or take over.
Okay.
And 力 is strength. So you can think about when you're doing a relay, it's race, you're kind of handling not only the stick, but also the strength to your next.
You're passing it on.
Okay. 接力.
接力.
Yes, so the entire team, for example, a team of 4, when you run, it's not you personally run for yourself, it's run for the team, and it's the strengths that carry forward through the 4 people.
Yeah, that's always a fun thing to watch in any major sporting event that has the torch, right? Just the running of the torch, the passing of the torch, and then finally the lighting of the flame.
Yes, and for the 2025 Asian Winter Games, actually, this torch, its design themed 澎湃 or surging, is inspired by the dynamic energy of nature and life. The design takes the form of a blossoming lilac, integrating colors such as China red, the lilac purple, and snow white, symbolizing sincerity, warmth, openness, and inclusiveness of Heilongjiang province and the characteristics of host city Harbin. And I don't know if you've realized or noticed these days, that is, when it comes to the torch, I feel like more and more games decided to have the torch ignite in digital forms instead of really
the actual flame itself.
It's changing.
Yeah, well, it's just safer, I guess.
More environmentally friendly.
Yeah,
and futuristic.
And you can guarantee that you won't have any sort of mishap with the lighting.
Not necessarily. You can still have some mishap.
I suppose, yeah, if some bulbs burnt out or something like that. But yeah, we're seeing that more, aren't we?
Yes. And we've already mentioned in the first half of the show, 冠军, 亚军, and 季军, winner, runner-up, bronze medalist. Actually, they would get different not quality, but material of the plate. We've talked about 奖牌 being the plate.
Yes.
And actually, 金牌, the gold medal, would be the gold plate. 银牌, that's the silver plate. And 铜牌, bronze plate.
金牌, 银牌, 铜牌.
Yes.
Gold
perfect.
medal, silver medal, bronze medal.
Yes. Okay. Now, final chance. If you want to learn some other words about Asian Winter Games, what are some words you'd like to learn about as a sports enthusiast?
Well, we talked about the games in general, but what do you call I guess you call it the venue, right? We hear that word a lot in English when we're talking about the Olympics or organized sporting events, like which venue, which location. How do you say the venue in Chinese?
场馆.
场馆.
Actually, a 场 is a huge playground, and the 馆 is a venue or a architecture with the space really, really huge for people to hold a certain kind of activity.
Okay. 场馆.
The reason I'm explaining it like this is because, for example, a football court would be 足球, that's football, 场. So a football playground, a football court.
I understand.
And a basketball court, for example, would be 篮球场. So basketball playground.
Playground.
Yes.
Okay.
And 图书馆, for example, that's 馆. So 图书 is book. A book building would be a library.
图书馆.
图书馆. 展览馆. 展览 is exhibition. So exhibition building would be a exhibition hall. So if you think about it, 馆 is a kind of relatively large building that can hold many things in it.
Got it.
And that is why 场 is the playground, 馆 is the venue. So together it represents 场馆. It represents the kind of venues that can hold a lot of sports activities.
场馆.
Yes, 场馆.
So 场馆, it doesn't matter which sport we're talking about. Well, in English, it doesn't matter. So, the figure skating venue, the ice hockey venue, the curling venue just refers to the space. Same in Chinese?
You can use 场馆 for all of those, but you can also be a little bit more specific, and just like 篮球场, it's a basketball court.
Yeah.
And you can also use that kind of logic to form the different venues.
Understood. Okay. How about the ceremonies? That I'd like to know about that. The opening ceremony and the closing ceremony.
Actually, the opening ceremony would be 开幕式. So 开 carries the meaning of open, and 幕 is the curtain. So you're opening the curtain in a ceremony. So 开幕式. And 闭 is closing. So you're closing the curtain. 闭幕式, closing ceremony.
开幕式.
Yes.
闭幕式. Opening and closing of the curtains.
Yes. But isn't it nice?
So wait, but does 式 always mean ceremony?
Not always, just in this occasion.
Okay.
Yes. And one last thing I want to share with you is actually a saying that we here in China we are very much familiar with. That is 友谊第一，比赛第二。
友谊第一，
比赛第二。
比赛第二。
It means friendship first, competition second.
友谊第一，比赛第二。
Yes, so 第一 means first, 第二 means second, and put together 友谊 means friendship, and 比赛 is competition. Literally, friendship first, competition second.
友谊 or 友谊？
友谊。
友谊。友谊第一，比赛第二。
Perfect. And I think that is the spirit we always want to hold on when it comes to sports games.
I don't agree with this. What's the expression? Competition first, friendship second. Do you have that expression in Chinese?
I'm not teaching that. I mean, it's decent Chinese. It's just not the kind of spirit I want you
That's
to remember
true. In the
by.
spirit of the games, let's stick with 友谊第一比赛第二.
Yes. And that brings us to the end of today's Takeaway Chinese. I'm Niu Honglin with Steve here in the studio. For more episodes of the show, you can visit our website at radio.cgtn.com and go to the column podcast. You can also listen to the show and read the script there. Find us wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Just search for Takeaway Chinese. Don't forget to leave your questions, comments, and ratings. 感谢收听，我们下次再见。
Thanks. Bye-bye.